Hey, there she go. There she go. Okay, we good. We good now. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
what's up? What's up? Talk to me. It's been like you said. It's been a couple years. You know, we ain't really chopped it up as much. You know,
hmm
we ain't really talked as much. So, what's up? How you been? What's been going on?
Man, I've been good. Life just been happening.
Yeah.
I don't live in Texas right now, so um,
You wait. You moved. Okay, so let's backtrack. So you moved out of Texas when you went to college, right?
yes,
And you went to Virginia, if I remember.
yeah, I'm in
Okay.
Virginia, and that's a whole story in itself. I didn't really technically get to go to college, but yes, I've been out here since 2017,
Hmm.
so it's been a few years. But I mean, things are going good. Just adulting, sadly, but you know.
Unfortunately, do you feel like, um, okay, so Virginia, right? So, do you like living in Virginia better than in Texas?
No,
No. Why?
no. Virginia is boring. At least the part I live in. I live in Hampton, Hampton, Newport News area. It's boring. It's small. There's not as much food places. There's not as much to do. It's a lot of. I mean, I know you have crime everywhere, but I feel like it's a lot of like black on black crime,
Yeah.
and I feel like a lot of the youth are getting killed for stupid reasons.
Yeah.
Um, so because of that, I feel like they shut down a lot of stuff out here, anything that would be fun, because a lot of times the kids kind of ruin it with violence and everything. So it's just not enjoyable that much.
So, what, what states border Virginia?
Ooh, geography. Um, so I know we got like Maryland, like DC area. Um, we got so
You
I
traveled to any of
think
them places?
yeah, I go to DC a decent amount of time because that's like the closest thing that's like fun. I know North Carolina right below us, which is pretty close too, but I just I don't know nothing good in North Carolina except for Charlotte. So
I had a friend who said that she wants to live in DC, like she wants to move to DC, but I
DC,
don't know why. What the fuck is in DC?
DC is like famous for like when I go, I like to go to like their brunch and stuff like that on Sundays
Yeah.
because brunch should be like a party. So it's like a day party. So like it start off as like regular brunch and then it turns into like a day party after a certain time and then depending on certain places, it might actually transition to like a nighttime thing.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of like club life, good food, historical stuff. I know pretty soon me and my boyfriend are gonna go up there to go to the African American History Museum.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool out there too. But I think it's a lot of culture out there. Um, and just a lot of history, but it's fun.
Is weed legal down there?
Yes, they got
In
dispensary.
in in Virginia or in DC?
DC, not Virginia.
Virginia it ain't legal down there.
Not that I know of.
Damn, I can't even go down there and blow one.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, welcome back to One for the Culture. You know what I'm saying? We got a brand new episode. We got a brand new guest. Um, Someone who I've known for years. You know, it's kind of been off and on. You know what I'm saying? We ain't really chopped it up in a while, but for the better part, you know what I'm saying? A good friend, someone I care about, right? Um, so without further ado, I'm gonna let her introduce herself. You know, because I get on here. You know, some people want me to introduce them. Some people rather do it themselves. You know, so cool. That's cool. So I'm gonna let her chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Let her tell y'all about her.
Okay, so my name is Taylor. I'm 24 years old, originally from San Antonio, Texas, Saytown
Yeah.
210.
Yes.
I'm currently in 757 Hampton, Virginia area. I've been here for about 5, 6 years. Um, I'm the oldest of five children.
How
Um,
many? Okay, so it's five of y'all. So how many like brothers or sisters?
it's even, so two brothers, two sisters.
Ooh, and you're the
hmm
oldest.
Yeah.
See, I didn't get that jack of trades because I'm okay. So total out of all the
hmm
kids, out of all my siblings, there's nine of us. I want to say, and
Are you
I'm the only boy.
really?
I have eight sisters, and I'm the only, and I'm dead smack in the middle. So it's let's see, it's Vanessa and then it's Tiana, and then it's my younger
Mm-hmm.
two sisters. No, I have two sets of twin sisters, right?
Oh wow.
So my youngest set of twin sisters, they're 20. They actually turn 21 next month, which
Oh
is
wow.
fucking crazy to me.
That
Um,
is crazy.
and then it's me. I'm at 22, and then my sisters, my older sisters, the second set of twin sisters, they're 23. They turn 24 in September. And
Okay.
then my oldest sister, Kiana, is
Mm-hmm.
25. I want to say 24, 25, something like that. So yeah,
Yeah, I was
I
right
didn't,
after you know, right after another.
man, what? And I ain't gonna lie, it was tough, but like growing up, being around all them women, you know, especially like being in a single parent household. Like my pops wasn't always
Mm-hmm.
around, so it was really just my mom. So essentially, it was my mom, and okay, so my mom's children. It's only five of us, so it's the two sets of twin sisters and
Yeah.
me. So it was the younger two, I'm in the middle, and then the older two, and then my mom. Like that's really all it was,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the most
You was
part
in
growing up.
tag team,
So fam,
older and younger.
when I tell you like don't get me wrong,
Oh.
it was bad. Like I really wanted to just be around other guys, other males. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I learned a lot of shit about women through my sisters.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. Like they really taught me the game, like the ropes, like
Yeah.
shit that y'all don't like, shit that y'all do, shit that
Mm-hmm.
y'all the whole fucking the periods and cycles and just the whole
Yeah.
nine. Like I learned all that shit through them. So essentially, I
Definitely.
guess it was a blessing in disguise. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have got okay. So I was actually supposed to be a twin.
Oh,
So
really?
I was supposed to have a brother. So my mom miscarried my brother. So she got into an
Mm-hmm.
accident. And this is I ain't gonna lie, this is something I really didn't even like speaking on, like growing up
Yeah.
especially. But my mom, she got into an accident with an 18 wheeler and
Mm-hmm.
the car flipped, she miscarried my brother.
Mm.
But I made it somehow, some way. I don't, by the grace of God, I don't fucking know
Yes, I
how.
about to say by the
I,
grace of
I
God.
have no idea how. But I was supposed to be a twin. I was supposed to have a twin brother, so that's how it was supposed to go. But
Mm.
since that ain't happened, I got stuck with it. All the fucking funeral.
Lord, all I know is whoever you decide to have children with in the future, I bless them because that runs in your family heavy.
Look, everybody, fam, everybody want me, especially my family. Everybody want me to have twins. I don't know
I
why,
bet.
but everybody's literally rooting for it. It's like their
You know
mission.
what's crazy? So it's kind of like my boyfriend too. So my family, I have a lot of twins in my family too.
Yeah.
And I think about last year, sometime my boyfriend had a conversation with my grandma,
Mhm.
and she basically shed light on how the twins have run.
Yeah.
And so my grandma is one of, I believe, 13.
Wow.
So all of them, everybody, all of her siblings have had twins somewhere in their family lines except for my grandma. And so my mom had me and my brother. My aunt doesn't have any children. My uncle just had his first, and it's a single boy.
Mhm.
So my boyfriend, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have the twins. We're gonna be the twins." I'm like, "Please, no."
You don't want twins? You ain't fucking with it?
It's just the idea of having to carry two children, birth two children,
Bro,
raise two children at the same time, send them off to college. Like I just feel like all of that for your first round is a lot.
exactly. That's a
So
lot.
I commend your mom. I give her a round of applause because she did it twice. And bless her heart.
And it was really supposed to be three times. She was supposed to do it three
Yeah,
times. That shit,
exactly.
wow. Like my family,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So my mom, she had two sets of twins. It was really supposed to be three sets of twins.
Mhm.
My dad is a twin. My uncle was a twin. He passed. But
Mhm.
my uncle was a twin. I want to say there's another set of twins on my grandpa's side. It's somewhere,
Mhm.
but this shit run deep. This shit run
Yeah.
deep, and I don't fucking
Yeah.
like it, fam. Because now everybody pushing. Originally, so my sister just had her baby a couple years ago. Probably, damn, Jakari is. I want to say he turned 3 this year.
Okay.
So, and I'm thinking she was gonna have the twins. Like I was dead set. Like
Mhm.
nah, fam. Bring on. I think Bring gonna be the one.
Yeah.
So that shit didn't happen. So now that she ain't have it, now everybody eyes on me. Like, well, B,
Yeah, you got a target on your back.
what's up? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, fam. Because
Yeah.
like you said, that very first time, it's already a new experience for you. Like just having a child in
Mhm.
general, that's gonna be hard. Now you talking about adding
Yeah.
another?
Yeah, and it's funny because everyone, I think a lot of people in my family and in my circle are they're rooting for me to go ahead and have children because me being the oldest. I've helped raise and take care of four younger siblings. So they're
Yeah.
like, you're already like a mom. But I'm like, yeah, it's different because I can send them to y'all, to your parents,
Yeah,
and they can go
exactly.
home. But I mean, I love the kids. I love kids. But I just think that I got some stuff I'm still trying to do in my life first before I,
Yeah.
enter that path of life. I don't feel like I had the mom look yet. You know. So I'm still holding off on that.
But you plan on having children eventually?
Yes, yes, I do.
So you want to start a family?
Yes, uh-huh. I feel like I'm not gonna say every woman's dreams because you have other people who don't, have the same values. But I feel like a lot of women that is a goal of theirs is like, to well, I don't know in this generation right now because I feel like I'm a different person than a lot of people, my
Yeah,
peers.
agreed.
But I feel like people who have a good head on their shoulders, a lot of them value family and just value that camaraderie of having, your own people and raising somebody to be a good person in this world. You never know what people are going to become. So I look forward to that. I really do look forward. I'm gonna be a corny mom. I already know. We're gonna do all the little arts and crafts stuff. We're gonna make the different shaped pancakes, all of that. I'm gonna be that corny mom, I already know. But I just want to create the same experiences I had for my future children. Like that's something I really, really value.
I was talking to someone a couple years back, and we were kind of talking about like I guess the difference between like a lot of men and a lot of women as far as like the way they were raised, like growing up. Like a lot of women are taught to value like the family aspect of it, like starting a family and going about it that
Hmm.
way. But then like of course a lot of men um are taught to value multiple partners and not necessarily the whole family dynamic like a lot of women are. So that's interesting, and I wonder why that is. Like I don't know.
I feel like it stems from people's like you said, upbringing, like their parents and their families, like what they were exposed to.
Yeah.
Because for me, I like I grew up with I guess a single parent household. I mean, my dad was here, but my mom was in Texas, my dad was in Virginia. So
Yeah.
I went back and forth between them a lot. Um and but in the home I stayed in San Antonio pretty much my whole life. I grew up with my grandparents in the home. So I had a great example of, love and of a marriage
Yeah.
and that seeing like for me, I to my eye, it's crazy that I'm even saying this right now. I've never thought about this. I've never seen my grandparents go through like a period of like they don't like each other. But I feel like that also attests to number one, their faith, and number two, communication.
Yeah.
That's a big thing I feel like in my family and stuff. Like my mom has always preached to me like you need to be able to communicate your words and your feelings.
Yeah.
Because nobody can help you if they don't know what you're feeling. And how can you help yourself if you don't know what you're feeling?
Exactly.
So it's like if you grow up in a household that's similar to that or has, different values and everything that are examples of, a healthy relationship or something that you should work towards. I feel like that's something like, you would grow up, wanting to emulate
Yeah.
versus if you grow up in any other environment where it's like, okay, having multiple relations is glorified and, having the most girls is glorified or even with the women having the most men or being the best dressed to get the best looking men and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
when you glorify those type of things, I think that's how like, your children watch you a lot.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that from my siblings because my brother on my mom's side, that's who I live with the most. He does stuff now and I'm like, dang, I was doing the same stuff
Yeah.
whenever I was younger. So it's like I know children watch their parents and their siblings and like people that are older than them a lot. So I think that's also why like I know we're talking about self love. I feel like that's where it starts is with like yourself because if you want to bring a child or something into this world, you have to understand that your feelings and how you deal with them and how you process things and how you communicate with others, they're going to watch those things and
Yes.
they're going to emulate them in one way or another.
Right.
So I think that's where the difference comes between how people value stuff. Like it
Yeah.
starts with your upbringing.
Yeah, because like for me, I'm realizing like by the day, like I really like truly and genuinely, I'm a family person. Like that's just who I am
Hmm.
at heart. Right now,
Yeah.
obviously, there are other distractions in the world, other temptations in the world that make that a little bit
Hmm.
more difficult. But like at the core of who I am, like I really rather just be with one person and really start
Yeah.
a family. But like the idea of really starting a family scares the fuck out of me because of my own personal experiences, obviously. And honestly, like I've never like it's the complete opposite. Like for you, you said like you basically you saw like a great example of what a family
Hmm.
looks like, especially two people together and your grandparents.
Hmm.
I don't know that I could say that for me. Like growing up, I don't know if I could really point to anyone in my family or anyone outside of my family that was just like I won't say the perfect role model for what a
Yeah.
good, healthy relationship would be like, but something that just emulates that or signifies that. And it's like I ain't really seen that much growing up, and plus my own personal experiences with my family growing up and actually being a part of a family. So it's like
Hmm.
at the core of who I am, it's like yo, I love hard, I'm compassionate, like I really want to settle down,
Hmm.
start a family eventually, but
Hmm.
that scares the fuck out of me. I'm just
Yeah. But also too, I think it scares a lot of people right now in this day and age because the world is so messed up.
yeah,
Um, and when people hear, "Oh, you're 24," they automatically put me in this category with how the world just speaks and thinks now and these days, and I hate that because I feel like, and don't get me wrong, different things for everybody. I'm not a get a bag, fuck a nigga. Like that's just not my mentality.
yeah,
Like so I think that sometimes that makes that hard as well too with the dating world.
facts.
Um and that's why it's funny because me and my boyfriend always say like if we weren't with each other, we do not think that we would be in relationships right now because this world like I feel like you just can't really trust anybody right now.
Yeah,
So you have to be very mindful with who you are giving yourself to, and that's not only physically but mentally and
emotionally.
spiritually.
Yeah,
That because I tell you, spiritual warfare is a real thing.
yes, it is.
People, their energies will bounce off of one person to the other so fast,
Yes,
and it will feel like you got a monkey on your back. So it's like you really, really, really have to be mindful of who you choose to give your energy to, because someone will disrupt your peace in an instant.
fact.
So it's definitely hard for people right now in this world because it's very messed up.
And I wasn't really like I'm. That's one of the things I'm noticing too. Is like I wasn't really big on like energy, like growing
Hmm.
up, like high school, or even like the beginning of college. Like that wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily something that I really like prioritize or even really like. I don't know, like. But like now, as I'm getting older, like the more and more I'm around other people and interacting with other people,
Yeah.
whether that be intimately or um platonic, just a platonic, like whatever it is, like over the years, like I'm really starting to
Yeah.
notice like the people that I'm interacting with and the type of energy that they have, like it fucks with me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
if you're not really a good person or the type of energy and the vibes that you're giving is not
Hmm.
positive and healthy, like when I'm around you, that shit jumps to me somehow, some way, and I can't
Yeah.
explain it. Like it's just a feeling. It's just
Hmm.
like I probably just shouldn't really
Yeah.
be around this person, and I never really thought of it that way, like growing up. But like it's just a
Hmm.
feeling, like you just know, like when you're around somebody or interacting with
Yeah.
somebody, the energy that they're giving off or projecting is like I don't really want to be a part of this. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And I've learned that over the past few years of being here too. I feel like definitely as you get older, you start understanding more of the things that the older folks be telling you whenever you're younger and
yeah,
stuff. And it's crazy because, like, as a child, you're always like, they don't know nothing. They just talking. But
facts.
no, they do. They
Yeah,
definitely do. So, but yeah, I think that it just takes time to. It takes time to understand that type of stuff because you have to literally sit within yourself and understand. Okay, is this helping me or is this harming me?
right.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that is by loving yourself, right? Which is the perfect segue,
Hmm.
perfect transition into the topic of the day. which is self love. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to talk about that. This is a big topic for me because um, self love has been quite a journey for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it was something that was truly taught to us well, like a concept that was really truly taught to us, like growing up. And I'm speaking for like me, my own personal
Mm-hmm.
experience, me, my family.
Yeah.
I don't know that that was really a topic or concept that was prioritized like growing up. It was really like make sure your family good, like make sure your people good, like always look out for them, whatever with the rule. But it
Mm-hmm.
was never really so much like if this person ain't respecting your boundaries or whatever the case may be, like you might have to let this person go. Or you might have to like prioritizing your own self, like in your own self love. I don't know that that was ever really truly embedded in me and taught to me, right? So what has your journey been like with self love over the years?
Whew.
Oof.
It's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly, it's an everyday battle.
Mhm.
I feel like, there's days when you're gonna really feel like, dang, like okay, I'm feeling really good within myself. And I mean other days you might feel like, dang, like I feel like shit today. And I don't know why. So for me, I feel like it's been up and down over my whole entire life pretty much. Um Growing up, I used to do a lot of back and forth between my parents, like I said.
Yeah.
So um it's different because I'm going from living with my mom all the time and hearing, oh, hey, pretty girl, oh, hey, this, hey, that, all this stuff. And then my dad, he's like complete opposite.
Yeah.
So I know that he was joking in the things he was saying now,
Yeah.
but as a child, some of his jokes he would make, I think, kind of boosted insecurities within myself.
Yeah. It was
Um,
perceived a different way.
so yes,
Yeah.
uh-huh. So I think sometimes too, it's like you have to be careful what you say to people. Even though it can be a joke, you might be putting stereotypes about themselves, into
Yeah.
their heads. So I think that was kind of how I dealt with a lot of that stuff younger. And it still sometimes affects me today, even though like I know some of those things are not true. But it's like I look at them like, is that really true? Or
Yeah.
do other people see me that way? But so like as a child, some of that stuff, came about. I was super skinny, super, super, super skinny. So I used to always be like, dang, like I feel like I'm nothing but skin and bones.
Yeah.
So growing up, it was like always trying to figure out like, ooh, how can I look a little curvier,
Yeah.
just stupid stuff like that. And it's crazy because now I am curvier and I look back at my pictures and I'm like, why was I ever thinking that?
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
I look perfectly fine. Dang, I wish I probably could get back to that.
Yeah.
But, so it's like I really feel like you have to just show yourself grace in every season of life you're in. And I'm learning that still today. Um, it's definitely been a journey. I mean, there is a point in time where I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with anxiety. There was a point in time before coronavirus was even a thing. That whole entire year, I basically was self quarantining myself without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Like I'd go to work, come home, and I'd be in my room. Like I
Facts.
wouldn't come out my room. I had a roommate, but I wouldn't go out and interact. Like I was just miserable within myself because I feel like I wasn't coming to terms with things that had happened in my life. I was very disappointed within myself, focusing on a lot of the negative rather than focusing on all the things that I have accomplished.
Yeah.
Um, so I definitely think it's always a up and down journey. Like there's definitely going to be things that because we always go through trials and stuff like that. So in those low times of life is where you really 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 have to focus on keeping yourself up and still speaking life into yourself.
Yeah. Do you feel like do you feel like a lot of women go through that like that phase of like, growing up and like their specific like the body that they have, like they may not necessarily appreciate it or really want it. And so it's like, okay, like maybe I'm trying to do certain things to kind of get to this whatever. And especially now in our day and age, social media,
Hmm.
there's a certain type of look, you know what I'm saying, that
Yeah.
everybody's searching for, looking for, or whatever, because maybe that's what attracts the men, or maybe that's what attracts whatever,
Hmm.
right? Do you feel like that's a phase that a lot of women just go through?
Me personally, yes, I do think that. I feel like definitely now in today's age, society does boost that a lot more. I feel like back in the day, natural bodies were more,
Yeah,
glorified and
yeah,
they were like accepted more. But doesn't mean that, we still didn't get bullied or anything like that for it.
right.
But like, um, I think honestly, I think that as a child, people are just cruel sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, not knowing it, but just like there could be comments of, if you're too skinny, like, oh, you're a stick, or oh,
Yeah,
you don't got whatever, people say random things. But then you have the other side of things where if people are bigger,
mhm.
if they could be a perfectly fine size, but people are gonna find something to criticize them about.
Yeah,
So whereas they might be going home and their family's like, you're beautiful, speak this to yourself. They're out in the world and people are looking at them like, oh, you're fat, oh, go take a run or whatever. So I feel like not only does media and society make young women feel like they should be something they're not, but also just like, the lack of self love being taught. Like,
yeah,
I feel like no matter what, I feel like we all know that, that we're beautiful, or, in our own way and everything like that. But sometimes when you hear that term, like, you're beautiful in your own way, you might feel like, is that a special way of saying, like, you
yeah,
know, but you're still beautiful, you know? But I think honestly, it just comes down to loving yourself within and knowing that everyone has things that they wish they could change about themselves.
facts. Yeah,
You know, nobody is perfect. We were not created on this world to be perfect. And I feel like if that was something that was taught to me more when I was younger, like, yes, I was told, like, oh, you're a pretty girl, you're cute and everything, but really, like, dealing with those things of, like, I really feel like I am ugly as shit.
yeah,
Like,
no
those,
cap.
those type of feelings and stuff, and like how you get out of that. And like affirmations. I didn't know about things like that, like speaking things multiple times and stuff like that, and really like believing those things. Like, um, so I think that I do think that a lot of women deal with insecurities and, stereotypes and stigmas about themselves just based off of life.
Yeah. How important is it for you to prioritize your own needs, your own wants, right? Because like that's also something that I struggle with growing up, especially now. Like we're adulting now, you know what I mean? So like your wants and needs in middle school and high school look a little bit different than your wants and needs
Mm-hmm.
now, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So and you had somebody, normally family, who looked out for your wants and needs. They were the primary, like, and now you're the primary. You got to do that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So like, how important is it to prioritize that, your wants and needs, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now?
Yeah. I feel like I can prioritize them a little bit more,
Okay.
but I do think that taking time to self-evaluate and to like, okay, be like, okay, what are things that make me happy?
Yeah.
I think those are things that are really important for me. I'm very artsy, so like right now I have a small business that I'm starting. So
Hey.
for me, that looks like, working on my labels, working on, products and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Those are things that I like to do in my spare time.
Right.
um Offside of that, sometimes it might be, like, I like to cook.
Yeah.
So cooking and stuff like that, I feel like sometimes we get so stuck in the phones and so stuck in what's going on around us. Like, you really got to take time to find out things that you like.
Yeah.
Like, So, and it's not gonna be the normal type of things that everyone else likes, you know. Like for me, I've been on a spiritual journey, like with God,
Hmm.
especially this year. I think that actually starting last year, he was kind of preparing me for certain things. My mom currently has breast cancer.
Wow.
Um,
I'm sorry
so
to hear
I
that.
think that, yeah, I think that he was preparing me in different things and different ways to be able to deal with certain stuff. So for me right now, I think definitely prayer
Yeah,
is one of my safe places.
me too.
Um, Honestly, like every single day when I'm on my way to work, it's a 15 minute drive to work from me. My whole drive is praying. I
Wow.
don't listen to music. I don't do anything else but pray. And some people probably driving by will look at me and be like, "This girl's in here talking to herself," and I don't care because
Thanks.
that's that's my peace, that's my calm, and that is something that I feel like is pouring into myself, is bettering my relationship with him, you know. So that's something I do for me, also too, for self-care and self-love. And I know everyone is not as into God and everything like that, but I'm just speaking my truth.
Yeah.
So just understanding how um even the things that we put in our bodies, like things we listen to, how much we don't realize how much that affects us.
Yes. Oh, we potting now. Yes.
So I have even gone a step further to start finding music that still makes me feel good, like, beats and stuff like that, and, cadences and everything, but the message is in a better way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I found like some Christian R&B, some Christian hip hop, and like people sleep on it, but it's actually really really good.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised how much I actually like it because I'm such like a future Drake.
Yeah.
On the girl side, I'm such a Summer Walker,
Yeah.
SZA, all that stuff. When I tell you, I'm finding people who are artists that sing Christian songs and their sound like similar type of music to what I'm used to listening to. So I think it also is just like finding what fits you, you
Mhm.
know, finding something that fits you. Because I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people in society right now, they would look at me and be like, "Oh, she's a Jesus freak," and I'm like, "Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just living my journey.
Yeah.
So if that's something that pleases me and it offends you, then it offends you. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'm doing what's making me happy and what's finding me peace and what is satisfying my needs outside of going to work every single day and working out and all that other stuff.
Yeah. Like I think that's important because like when you talk about like prioritizing yourself, like when you don't like what I've realized and what I've learned the hard way, unfortunately, is when you don't prioritize yourself and it's more so like you prioritizing other people and their needs. It's like you're filling up their tank, but you're slowly draining yours, right?
It's so crazy you said that.
Okay, why you say that?
Okay, so transparency. So
Okay.
maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, right? Me and my boyfriend were kind of going through a rough patch, and we
Yeah.
were doing a lot of arguing, not communicating very well.
Hmm.
And so my mom was at the point where she was like, I wish y'all would just figure this thing out. And if y'all not going to communicate, then just break up, right? And so, but me and my boyfriend both knew we really wanted to be together. So we were like, okay, we need to figure this thing out. My mom gave me this exercise, I guess you could say, to do
Okay.
with him, where, if I can explain this, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, where basically you write down 12 things that are like non-negotiables for you in your life,
Okay.
right? So let's say it's like loyalty, communication, respect, whatever it is, right?
Right.
You write down your 12 things, and the other person, it can be platonic relationship, romantic relationship, whatever. They write down their 12 things.
Okay.
So for each thing, right, you're going to kind of rate it. So the way you rate it is, so my mom, it was like a pie chart, right? So you draw a circle and put like a cross in between it.
Okay.
So you, for your first one, right? So let's say your first one's respect. There's four little circle. There's four pieces. You're gonna shade in out of them four pieces how much you think that your partner respects you, right? So
Mm.
let's say I shade in. I feel like my partner respects me pretty good, but there might be certain things where I feel like you don't respect me in. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna shade in three of those little pie circle
Okay.
things. I'm gonna make another pie circle for the same one. Put the crosses in it. So how much do you think that you respect yourself out of them four? So you shade
Mm.
it in, let's say I'm like, dang, I've been doing some crazy stuff. I ain't been showing myself much respect.
Yeah.
Let's say I shade in myself too. And then how much do you do another circle, the third one, and you say, how much do you think that you show your partner respect? Like how much do you think that they're receiving from you?
Yeah.
And so then you shade it in, right? So you do that for all four of them, right? You tally them up, right? I
Wait,
mean for
so
all 12 of
so
them.
so how
For all
much
12.
so how much you respect your partner, how much you respect yourself, and how much your partner respects you?
Yes.
Got
But you
you.
do that for every
For every
single
single
for all
one.
12
Got
of
you.
the stores,
Okay.
right? Because at the end, you're gonna tally up like how many squares you have in each, or how many shades in you have for each, right? So let's say for how much you pour into your partner, right? In
Mhm.
all 12 of these aspects. Let's say your score is you're pouring 100% into your partner. Like all your squares are filled and everything. It's 100%.
Yeah.
Now let's say how much you're receiving back from your partner. Let's say you're like, I feel like they're not pouring as much into me, so I'm gonna say it's
Yeah.
about a 50.
Yeah.
It's about a 50. And then you see how much you're pouring into yourself. You're pouring into yourself a 10.
Wow.
So when you look at it, you have 10 to give, right? Because you're only pouring 10 into yourself.
Yeah.
You're pouring 100 into your partner, and your partner's only pouring 50
50
back
into
into you.
you.
So you
Yeah.
only really have about 60 to give, but
Wow.
you're giving 100, you know? And so we did this exercise and it was an eye opener for us
Yeah.
but when you talk about it, you really talk about like you break each one down. You say, okay, like if I gave you 50%, like two squares shaded for respect. This is why I gave you the two squares of shade for respect, because I really feel like you do these things really well. But the
Mhm.
reason why I didn't give you the other two is because these are things I think that we can work on.
Okay,
So
so
it's
when
like
y'all
it,
did okay, so you said that's 12, right?
yeah. So you have
Okay.
12 things.
Okay, so did you okay, so like respect, like the first one, right? So whenever
hmm
you filled it out, did all three, did y'all
hmm
show each other right after that, or did you go through the whole 12, do it, and then y'all kind of
We showed each other our results right afterwards. And at the time, it was crazy because our results matched. Like our numbers weren't the exact same,
yeah,
but at the time, I was pouring more of myself into him than
yeah,
he was pouring into me,
yeah.
and more than I was pouring into myself. And his stuff reflected the same thing. And I
Wow.
didn't tell him what the point of the exercise was. I just had him do the exercise first, and then I was like, "This is what the result."
Damn.
And
Yeah,
so he
cause
was like, "Dang, like, okay." So we were able to, and for us before, so like because of the way I grew up and everything, like even though like I seen communication in my grandparents and stuff, I was not a good communicator. So
yeah,
I was that person who was like, if someone was trying to tell me something, I'm yelling, I'm like, no, fuck that, da, 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 da. I'm going
yeah.
off, you
Facts.
know. So for us to be able to sit down and really articulate and communicate why we felt like you're not giving me enough respect or you're not giving me enough communication, whatever it is, for us to sit there and communicate that, it was an eye opener for both of us because it was like, dang, I'm really not pouring enough into myself or into,
Yeah,
and he ain't pouring enough into me. So it was like we really had to like really sit there and take time to talk about that
yeah,
and figure it out. And so like for a little while we started doing where we take each of our like our number one. So if mine was respect and his was like communication for like a whole entire week. We'd really work on those things. And
Gotcha.
at the end of the week, we would talk to each other and be like, okay, do you feel like I really, really showed you respect this week? Do you feel like I communicated with you a lot this week?
Yeah.
And if we felt that, it was like, okay, we're working on those things. So we went through like all 12 and stuff. And so it was like, okay, you're actively trying to work on these things to be better for yourself and for your partner, you know? So I feel like things like that don't happen a lot right now in this
No,
society.
at all.
I feel like people right now, it's like, you're getting my fucking nerves. I can't stand you. I don't know how to communicate with you, so we're gonna break up. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, but if you really want to make a relationship work, you're gonna have to do some work.
Yeah.
You are. You're going to. And it's not even just work within that other person, it's within yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough energy to give to nobody else if you don't have the energy to give to yourself.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an eye opener for me of, you know, pour more into myself, because that's why you're feeling like you're running dry. That's why you're feeling like you have no energy to give. That's
Yeah.
why you're feeling down within yourself. You're not doing anything for yourself,
Yeah.
you know? So I think that's when I really, really, really honed in on just doing things that I like to do. So
Yeah.
painting, drawing, creating my my skincare line that I'm doing, just doing a bunch of different stuff that are random. And my boyfriend jokes on me because he's like, "You just do a bunch of random things," and I'm like, "That's me," you
Exactly.
know.
Yeah.
Like, and those are the things that he loves about me, you know. So it's like, you really gotta embrace yourself, because if you find somebody that really loves you for you, no matter what, like, you can be as goofy as you are, you can be, you know, you can go through all your crazy mood swings and stuff like that, but if a person can see you for who you are, because they see that you're really pouring into yourself and you're working on yourself, that's like the icing on the cake. Like,
I'm not gonna lie.
mm-hmm.
I might have to steal that exercise because
Look, I'm not, look, when we done with this, I can write it all down
yeah,
for you.
please, yes, write it up,
I,
send it to me because I might
yeah,
have to.
I'll show you a picture and everything. Yeah, because it works. We at least it worked for me. But yeah,
Because that
it's
way you
something.
can really truly see, like, okay, this is really how I'm
Mm-hmm.
treating myself. This is really
Yeah.
how I'm treating my partner. This is
Mm-hmm.
really how my partner treating me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
or at least how I perceive it.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And that's the thing too. Making sure that when you're talking about these things with somebody, even if you don't do the exercise, you know, telling somebody when you're like, a lot of people get stuck on the word you say. So when you
yeah,
say
exactly.
you do this, you, people feel like they're being attacked. And
Yeah,
I've been a victim of that, being only focused on the words and not the message.
exactly.
You know? So it's like whenever you talk about those things, you're like, okay, this is what I'm receiving. This is what I'm
Yeah,
feeling. This
yeah,
doesn't mean that's how you're intending it to come off, but this is what I'm telling you I'm feeling from you.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I'm not
So
saying that you're actually doing this or
yeah.
treating me this
Uh-huh.
way, but whatever it is, this is how it's
This
making
is
me
how I
feel. You know
feel.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
People don't talk
yeah,
about their
got you.
feelings enough because I feel like they just feel you know, like they're not valid. Everyone's feelings are valid. They're
Yeah,
valid feelings because of your feelings. Does that mean that everything is gonna be like a true statement?
yeah,
No, because
probably
I
not.
can
Yeah,
feel like you're being mean to me, but the truth might be you telling me something I really need to hear.
hey,
You know?
we podding now. Now we
Uh,
pod. Yeah, facts. So, like for me,
uh,
it was like, okay, so my eye opener essentially, I always like to think back, not like, because it's a very painful
mm-hmm.
situation, but I always think back to my freshman year of college and that first semester, probably the worst 4 months of my life, like
Yeah.
period, because of what I was going through mentally and emotionally with the other women in my life
Mm-hmm.
and how that all played out. It was a lot, like a lot. And I was also dealing with a lot of shit with football and not being on the team and trying to walk on,
I
play
remember that.
ball. So yeah, so it was like, damn, like there was a lot of shit going on, and it forced me to
Mm-hmm.
fall into like this really really deep depression.
Yeah.
And I was isolating myself from the world. Like I was. extremely lonely. Like it was just like, bro, like what the fuck is going on? But then
Mhm.
as the days go by, the weeks, the months, I start to realize like because of the fact that like my relationships or my situations with these specific women didn't work out the way I wanted it to, I realized like how much of my own self worth I was attaching to them. So the
Yes.
moment shit went left and they were no longer around, it was like, damn, well, how do I function now? What the fuck do
Yeah.
I do? What do I? So like I was in that weird ass space for a while, but then I started to
Hmm.
realize like, okay, damn, B, it's certain things that I like that I never knew that I like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like poetry, for example, was one thing I discovered in that process. Like, cause I like writing, and I ain't even really
Hmm.
realized that. But I get to writing, and I get to putting words together, and I'm like, wait, hold on,
Hmm.
damn, I'm kind of good at this. Hold on, let me. So I play with it a little more, and I'm now I ain't gonna lie, I probably got damn near 50 poems, like all of
Really?
them dead ass. Like I'm probably gonna release a book one day.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm like,
You
cause you know
should. You should.
I'm a big Tupac fan. I'm big on Tupac.
Yeah.
So like he was a poet, you know what I'm saying? Because that's originally how
Hmm.
he started. You know what I mean? He started rapping.
Hmm.
Like his poems were initially like he was a big Shakespeare
Yeah.
guy, like the whole nine. So like I started getting into that. And I'm like, damn, no, I actually kind of like this. Hold on, let me
Hmm.
play with it a little bit. And
Yeah.
I started like really just prioritizing me and focusing on me. Like I had to do the work. Like it's
Hmm.
uncomfortable as fuck, but you got to sit in that distress. Like turn
Yeah.
off the TV, get off social media. Like I'm telling you, like when you get off social media, I'm talking about like, even just for 24 hours, just a whole
Yeah.
24 hours, all social media,
Hmm.
you really realize like, damn, what the fuck else do I have to do for real? Like,
In January, I did a whole month. A whole month.
look,
I did the
I'm trying to get
whole
there.
month of
I'm
January.
trying to get there. I didn't hit a couple weeks, but I ain't hit a month
I
yet.
deleted everything. I just it was peaceful. It was peaceful. And I feel like I might need to do another month
Man,
because I feel like, I get home and I'd be like, okay, like, all right, on the phone or scrolling on TikTok. I mean, don't get me wrong, they have some benefits sometimes, but when you're trying to get stuff done,
yeah,
it's such a distraction.
yeah.
Such, like,
And
ugh.
that's what I
It,
realized. Like when you're not on social media, like it really forces you to focus on you. Like I
yeah.
can't put it any other way. Like it forces you. Like,
Hmm.
because I'm not interacting with
Yeah.
the whole fucking world. I'm not talking to everybody, DMing, commenting, whatever. And it's
Hmm.
like for the majority of us, our life is surrounded around that. Like social media is a
Yeah.
huge thing. So it's like the
Yeah.
moment you're not on it and interacting with other people, and it really is just you. It's like, well, damn, I really don't know myself for real. Like, what the fuck do I like? What do I do? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And like, so like, I had to sit in that, like, dead ass. I had to sit in that distress, like, and it was hard because I kept you log off social media, and I swear to God, it's like, all right, 5 minutes later, you pick up your phone, and then and it's like,
Yes. It's
damn,
addicting.
I can't even.
It's
So you put it
addicting.
back. 30 seconds later, damn, I can't even. Yeah,
I felt like that during January. I'd pick it up and I'd be like, oh, let me go to Instagram real quick. Like I found like during my free time, I would scroll and I'd be like, it's not on my phone.
it's not even on my phone.
Like, so then I'd be like, okay. Only thing I did keep was YouTube because I just use
Yeah,
that
I'm
more.
not deleting YouTube. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So that's not.
YouTube, I don't feel like YouTube's a social media
No,
app.
I don't think so either.
But um but the rest of them, yeah, like it felt like to be disconnected from the world, it felt good. Like
Yeah,
I feel like there was a lot that was going on in January as well too. Like I feel like it was a lot of people that were passing away, like famous people and just a lot of craziness that was going on and people be like, "Oh, you haven't heard about this? You haven't heard about that?" And I'm like, "No, like I really haven't and I'm glad I haven't because you heard about it and all it's doing is taking up space in your mind. I haven't heard about it and it's not affecting me.
yeah,
'Cause at the end of the day, I don't know these people.
yeah.
I don't. And I'm watching everybody else live their lives through a screen. What am I doing with mine?
Exactly. What the fuck am I doing with mine, fam? Like I'm comparing my life to them, and I'm
Yeah,
thinking it should be this way, da, da, and
exactly.
it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like another thing, I
Hmm.
feel like when you talk about like prioritizing you and you know what? I want to know like how many people have actually logged off all of their social media for an extended period of time because it was actually something they wanted to do. Like I really want to know the answer to that. Like my
Hmm.
friends I don't think. Okay, no, Bruce. I think Bruce is actively off social media. I ain't gonna lie. He probably the
Mhm.
one unicorn, but everybody else heavily influenced with social media. So it's like,
Yeah.
I wonder how many people really take time, not because they have to. Maybe they got blocked
Yeah.
or banned or for whatever. Not that. I'm talking about like you really logged out because you felt like, nah, I just don't. I'm gonna take a break, or whatever, and you really just
Mhm.
focused on you. Like I don't know too many
Yeah.
people like that.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like it would be even more of a challenge to just log off and not delete the app.
Mm, mm.
And if it's still there, that I did not do. I completely got it out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, I feel like if whoever's watching this podcast, if you haven't tried it, take at least do at least a week. Do
See,
a
that might be
week.
asking too much for them. That might be asking too much for them. They if they ain't did it in God knows how long, 24 hours is gonna be a struggle for them.
Oh, okay, that
A
I give it to you.
struggle.
Work your way up to
Work
a
your
week.
way up. Fuck. Work
There
your
we
way
go.
up.
Work your way up to a week. Start with a few out. Start with while you're at work.
Yeah, that's a good way to start. When you at
If
work,
you're at work for 8 hours, or if you work part time while you're at work, make it a point to not be on social media.
yeah. I wonder what this
And if that's
world.
easy for you, if that's easy for you, okay, let's say you go to sleep at 11, 12 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, turn the phone off.
Oof, oof. That's a
Hmm.
challenge. That's a challenge. I
Hmm.
want to know what the world would be like. I remember I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, and I made the comment like, I wonder what the world would be like if they shut down all social media for a whole month.
The world would go into uproar. I would be fine.
What the fuck with the world? If the whole, I'm talking about Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram,
The world would be in
whatever,
a
for a whole month. I wonder what the fuck we
Do
would be.
you see how people act whenever people be like Instagram's down, Twitter's down? People act like the whole world is on
Bro,
fire.
that shit is crazy. Like that shit is crazy.
People be and it's crazy because I get on social media, but I don't comment unless it's like somebody I know,
Yeah,
or I like stuff, but I don't feel like I'm as invested into social media. So that's why it's not as effective or that's why it doesn't affect me as much. But like when people be posting talking about everyone was on Twitter, um, excuse me, asking about if Instagram's down, I'm like, I didn't even notice it was down because that's how much it's like.
yeah.
Okay, like if my stuff's moving slow or it's not working, I'm like, all right, time for me
Fuck
to
it.
get off of Instagram, go to TikTok, you know. So I think this world will be in an uproar,
I
sadly,
think.
but
Okay, so let me ask you this: How I want to get back on topic. So, do you feel like you've ever prioritized like, or do you feel like you've ever attached your own self worth to other people, whether it be family, friends, romantic partners? Like, do you feel like that relationship with whoever was what validated you?
yes, for a time. With my boyfriend currently,
Okay.
when I first moved here, um, I feel like so when I first moved here, we've always been friends. So disclaimer, I've known my boyfriend since we were in sixth grade.
Hey.
That's a whole story in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've been best friends forever. But he so yeah, so when I moved back here, we were friends. And then once we ended up getting together, I think that it was like, okay, somebody loves me. Oh my gosh, like when you feel loved by somebody else, you don't really prioritize loving yourself still.
Yeah.
You know? And so the problem with that is then it's like you become obsessive,
Yeah.
right? So it's like all you want to do is talk to this person. All you want to do is hear from this person. This person's not texting you, you're going crazy. Like
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like and it got to the point where um it got to the point where I just was not I don't think either one of us was happy with it.
Yeah.
Because also I feel like when you don't have self love and you're pouring it into somebody else so much, that's what brews insecurities
Mhm.
and stuff like that too. So there was a point in time where we would he went away to college, right? Maybe 5 hours away. but we would talk all the time.
Yeah.
And if I didn't hear back from him, like within a certain amount of time, I'd be like, "What are you doing? Oh my gosh!" Like I'd be like panicking in my head because
Yeah.
I don't know what this person is doing, and it's because I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like in my head, I'm like, "I have nothing to do but to talk to him. I just need to
Yeah.
talk to him. Oh, I love him so much. Oh, he loves me so much. Oh, so and I felt like whenever we talked, I felt like that validated that love.
Mhm.
And then when I wasn't talking to him, I feel like I was driving myself crazy. That's another reason why we don't do like the locations and the read receipts and stuff like that. Because for me, I know that if I allow myself to get that way, I'll become obsessive again.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people, I challenge them to do that too. If you really want to work on trust, stop doing the location sharing.
Yeah. I've
Trust your
never done
partner.
that though. That's crazy. Never.
Really?
Not once. I've never done
Don't.
that.
Don't. So if somebody wants your location and they're your significant other, red flag. Um, but even the read receipts for me to protect my sanity, if he has his read receipts on, I'm like turn them off
Yeah.
now because for me, it will piss me off if I've texted you and I seen you by my message.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you read it, you could have responded. But I don't even want my mind to go there,
Yeah.
So, but yes, I did pour myself into him extremely to the point where I kind of felt like I lost myself. And also too, I think that it was kind of like it's over a period of years. Like
Mhm.
even up to this year my mom has kind of said something about it. But with them being so far away, sometimes I don't see like everything that goes on in our everyday
Yeah.
life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um but like I think it's because he he does a lot of stuff. So he's done basketball. He's in coding right now and
Yeah.
cybersecurity and all that stuff. And since I've been here, the story behind me not going to college is kind of crazy and weird. But I've been trying to just find myself,
Yeah.
and it's been a crazy process. So I think that sometimes because he has so much going on, and because I'm still trying to figure out what in the world I'm doing,
Yeah.
I feel like people think that like, oh, okay, you're supporting him and stuff like that, but what are you doing? What do you got going on? You know? So right now though, I think that I'm definitely in a period of life, like I said earlier, where I'm doing things that are a lot more focused on myself.
Mhm.
Um and that means like sometimes where, you know, he might go to his parents' house and they got people over and stuff like that and having all
Yeah.
this fun and everything. Like, well, I'll stay here home. You know, I
Yeah.
don't need to go every single place you go.
Yeah.
Or even if it's like with the guys, like I've been here for so long, his guys are like my brothers. Like the
Yeah.
guys be like, "Oh, you didn't bring Taylor with you?" And he be like, "No, she want to stay at home." Or sometimes they'll have a guys' night, and I'm like, "All right, cool." And I'm not that person now because I feel like I've worked within myself. I'm not
Mhm.
that person who's like, "Oh, he's probably out there with a bunch of bitches." Oh, he
Yeah.
probably out there, da da da. Because I'm okay within myself, and
Yeah.
I have enough self love now that I understand that if he is out there with some bitches, it'll come to light and
Hmm.
he'll end up, understanding that all right, I had something good going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is where I was lacking a lot before. Not having that self love, so feeling very insecure within myself, very insecure within the relationship.
Hmm.
Um and it caused me to be very accusing and very like paranoid and
Yeah.
stuff because I had no thoughts about myself going on. Like,
Mhm.
it was everything was just about him and pouring into him and only loving on him and really neglecting myself.
Yeah. And that's why
Mhm.
that's another reason why I feel like it's important to still maintain healthy relationships with other people outside of your significant other,
Yes.
because a lot of
Yeah.
people feel like whenever I'm with my partner, it should really just be my partner. Like I ain't gonna lie, I didn't had
Mhm.
one of my last episodes. One of the guys was like, "Fam, like she can't have no male friends, like no close friends, like none of that shit. Like it really is, it's just me type
Uh-huh.
shit." And I'm like, "Fam, that shit sound unhealthy as fuck, toxic as fuck, fam."
Mhm.
Because when you I didn't been in that situation where it was really just me and my partner. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have no other meaningful relationships outside of her, and vice versa. And it was like
Mm-hmm.
you start to realize, like, when you do that and you constantly up under each other 24/7, and it's just y'all, the little
Mm-hmm.
problems become big ass problems. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like y'all are suffocating each other because like y'all are literally all
Mm,
y'all know each other. I mean, y'all are literally all y'all
yeah.
know. And then on top of that, whenever you have issues with your partner and they're the only one that you
Mm-hmm.
actively communicating with, when it's like, damn, well, I'm feeling some type of way about you, but I can't even really talk to you about it because you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So it's like that's why I feel like it's also
Mm-hmm.
imperative and important to still maintain healthy relationships outside of your
Yeah.
partner, as long as boundaries are present, obviously. But um,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I feel like.
Yeah. I feel like depending on the dynamic of everyone's relationship,
Mhm.
um, I feel like those are things. I feel like a lot of times people don't communicate those type of things.
Yeah,
Sorry, am I lagging? I feel like people don't communicate those type of things enough. I feel like they just do and then assume later.
yeah,
But like for me and my relationship, like I've always told my boyfriend like I don't care if you have female friends. I just need to know about them.
yeah,
You know. And we had tried that at one point in time, and it wasn't it wasn't that like it was bad or anything like that. It just became one of those things where it was like you never really know people's intentions.
yeah.
And when people start showing you certain things, I feel like sometimes
Hmm.
people get caught up on the fact that, well, that's my friend,
Yeah,
you know? And I mean, we have these conversations all the time about how, you know, the opposite sex and stuff like that, how just they think, how y'all think men think differently than women,
hmm,
and how sometimes things can get misconstrued. So
yeah,
for me and our relationship, like it's never been like, so like for us right now, there's no rules as like you can't have a female friend or you can't have a male friend. But I think it's funny because we genuinely enjoy spending a lot of time with each other. And then when we go off and like I go hang out with some girls that I know and he goes out with his guy friends and everything, it sometimes is like, dang, like I wish this person was here right now, you know? And it's funny because you would think that sometimes like after being together for let me see, 2018, since being together for like 5 years,
yeah.
they would be tired of each other. We just got a house in January. So we have a house and a dog.
Hey,
But like we honestly enjoy our solitude. So it's funny because it's like we don't really even find the need to have like relationships that deep with like the opposite sex. Like, you know, you have people that you talk to and everything,
yeah,
or like, you know, your coworkers and everything like that. But to actively like pursue friendships to where like I'm not going to the movies with no other nigga and I'm not like going to have lunch. That's just me personally. I'm
yeah,
not. Because my boyfriend's my best friend.
yeah,
So, and I think that's also too the difference in our relationship. We started off as friends first.
yeah.
So, like, he's really my best friend. So, like, all the like, anyone should know if you tell me a secret, he gonna know. Because that's my best friend.
Yeah,
And same thing for him. So, it's like, we genuinely enjoy being around each other. So, for
yeah.
us, there's really not no, like, no pressure or like need to like pursue other relationships outside of each other. But trust me, we do have our releases because sometimes he get on my nerves and I be like, but also too, we're very transparent. So I'd be like, sometimes like if he's kissing on me too much, I'm like, all right, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Or like if I'm in his face too much, he's like, okay, all right, enough. You know. So I think it just comes down to like knowing your partner and knowing what works for your relationship because whereas, you know, people might watch this podcast and be like, "Oh hell no, like she don't have no male friends like that and he don't have no female friends." Whatever works for your relationship. If
Yeah.
you have 50 nigga friends and he got, you know, 50 female friends, whatever, you know, like whatever works for you. But just for us, we genuinely enjoy time together. We really do.
Have you ever come across a situation with a male friend while you were in your current relationship, um, where he didn't respect the boundaries of y'all's friendship?
Mm, I don't think so because I feel like when it comes to friendships, I'm very transparent
Okay.
and um I don't let things get like that.
Yeah.
Now I will say I've had instances where like I've had people who were like my friends and they've been like commenting hard eyes or something like that in my DMs and everything. But like when it comes to like friends, like genuine friendships and stuff like that, it's hard for me to call someone my friend first of all.
That's true. That's very true.
I have a lot of associates.
Yes, 100%.
I have a lot of associates. So genuine friends, no, I haven't. And it's funny because a few years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I had a few guy friends from where I was working and stuff. And me and my boyfriend were sitting one day, and he's like, I was like, I'm gonna test these niggas real quick. I texted one of them, and I was like, hey, can I come over? And he was like, to do my hair? I was like, nah, like to come over,
Yeah.
like to like Netflix and chill. He was like, is something wrong with you?
See, that's how it fucking should be. That's how it should be.
And he was like, nah, I'm good. He's like, I don't know what you got going on, but no. And like, it's like we joke around because I'm like, I guess I don't know, but if I have a genuine friendship, like it's just a genuine friendship. Like even
Yeah.
I had a one friend, my friend Veer. If you ever watch this, shout out to you.
Yeah.
My boyfriend was really big into gaming and stuff like that at one point in time, so he was doing like the Twitch and everything.
Yeah.
So my friend Veer, my boyfriend had never met him or anything like that, but I was like, oh, you should get on Twitch with my friend Veer, or like start playing like COD with him.
Yeah.
And so he was like, oh, okay, I don't know. At first he was like, I don't know that nigga. I was like, I'm telling you, he's
Yeah.
cool. Like he's cool as fuck. I really fuck with him. And so they ended up being like, on the game and stuff like that for a good amount of time. So sometimes my boyfriend will be like, oh, Veer on Twitch right now. So I feel like when you have genuine friendships, you can share those friendships with your partners.
Yeah.
Like those should not just be like, it shouldn't ever have to be where it's like, oh, this is my male friend, but you can't meet them.
Yeah.
Or this is my female friend, but you can't be around them. Like I don't feel like that's a genuine friendship then, because then it feels like it's something to hide.
Yeah.
So for me personally, no, I haven't experienced that with a actual friend.
Okay, what about when we talk about self-love and just boundaries that you set for yourself, as far as like your friendships, like not even just not talking about your specific relationship or being in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
but just boundaries that you set with like, okay, like look, if we're gonna be cool or if we're gonna chop it up, we're gonna like this is what cannot happen type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I'm not gonna lie, I didn't been in a situation. Self love has really taught me healthy boundaries, and now that I've implemented those healthy boundaries, it ain't so convenient for other people, and because of that,
Mm-hmm.
it pisses them off.
Yep.
And I really learned that. Like I swear to God, like it's been a couple times as of recently. Like I'm chilling, I'm just thugging. I'm like, bro, I just want to be with the guys, maybe on the game and shit. Like I don't even feel like. And
Yeah.
somebody will call me, and they like, B, what the fuck? This just happened. I need to that. And I'm like, look, I understand you want to talk about this right now. I get that, but right now is just not the time. Can we talk about this
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow? Can we whatever And they like, and this is one of the. I swear to God, like this person in particular was the very first time I ever told them no. Any time I
Yeah.
would drop anything else, what's up, whatever
Yeah.
But I'm like, B, you know what? I could put this game down. I could talk to them. But I'm like, fam, I just want to be with the guys right now. Like I'm always pointing to y'all. I don't really want to. Boom. Okay, can we just
Mm-hmm.
chop up? And they're like, okay, cool. Lo and behold, what I found out, the motherfucker blocked me. Unsaved my number for a couple weeks, whatever. We chop it up like a couple weeks later, and she like, B, yeah, I blocked you. I don't. I'm like, for what? She was like, because
Yeah.
you told me no. Like I'm trying to be, and I said, so because the one time I put myself first and tried to just focus on me and just do what I'm trying to do, that
Mm-hmm.
was a problem. Like that's what I'm saying. Like them boundaries, man. People don't like that shit. People don't. When you start to really love
Yeah.
yourself and focus on you, people don't like that shit.
Mm-hmm. So I will say that when you start putting boundaries on certain stuff, it becomes a lonely place.
It does. It
You
does.
know, 'cause it really shows like who is there for you and who is not. Um, I will speak. So, like for me, since I've been here in Virginia, I've kind of had, I don't want to say a hard time making friends. It's just that people, like I said, I don't have the same mentalities as people.
Yeah.
So, I tend to make friends with people who are older than me.
Mhm.
Um, so that's where it's like, okay, different because some of these people have families and they have children and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But they have still become like genuine friends.
Right.
But friends I've had in the past, like it's been a thing of like, okay, um, having to say no to the same thing. So like I've had people who call and be like, hey, like, I've made some friends where they're like, you're going out friends, right?
Yeah.
But I found the problem of I'd make these friends and then I'd always be the driver. Ain't nobody else had a car or not a way to get there.
Yeah.
So it became one of those things where it felt like, oh, let's call Taylor and see if she'll come pick us up or everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
because if you're going to value my friendship, you're also going to value my time and you're going to
Exactly.
value like, things that I like to do too. So if I'm calling, I'm like, hey, girl, are you doing something? You want to go, here or there and everything like that. But you don't ever have time for me, but you want me to have time for you?
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
And so I think that, and then so I obviously some of those relationships were not for me.
Mhm.
And that's where, they've become a disconnect or I haven't spoken to them anymore because I'm valuing myself.
Yeah.
I have friends who genuinely want to hang out with me and genuinely enjoy my time and enjoy conversation and stuff like that. And we can go out and have a good time. So I think that when it comes to setting boundaries, you really got to know like what you value for yourself.
Yeah.
So, and that's a hard thing to figure out though too.
Mhm.
It takes time for sure.
Yeah.
Um because like, you can say okay, all right, like I'm going to keep on, satisfying you, satisfying you, satisfying you because I value our friendship.
Mhm.
But when do you, say, okay, well, if you value, friendship with me, these are some things that are gonna be, these are some things that are gonna happen. So if you call me and I tell you, hey, I need a second or something like that, or hey, I'm not having a really good day, like I don't really want to talk and everything, and you're like, all right, fuck you, then you want to block me and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're not valuing
Yeah.
my
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
You want
Exactly.
me to value your time?
Yeah.
How does
No.
that work?
No. That's not how that shit
You
works.
know,
No.
how does that work? So I really do feel like, I mean, I feel like it's definitely necessary in certain friendships. Certain friendships you have, you don't really, it's like a unspoken thing. Like you really don't have to have
Exactly.
no
I
boundaries.
agree with that.
Just
Yeah.
understand. But in certain relationships, I think that boundaries are definitely a necessity because if not, then someone else will dictate how the relationship goes.
Yeah. One thing I learned, especially going to therapy, is you teach people how to treat you. You know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
like if they don't value you, your time, your space, your needs, it's because that's what you're teaching them to not
Hmm.
value you, your time, your needs, your space. It's all about
Hmm.
them. Like that's one of the biggest things, and it's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, like at the core of who you are, you're a good person. You want to show up for other
Hmm.
people. Especially me. I'm an extremely
Yeah.
compassionate person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I've always been the person that everybody run to 5 in the morning, like B,
Hmm.
this happened. I need advice. I need that. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I've took on that role, which is cool. I get that because I genuinely love helping people. But at the same
Hmm.
time, like if me helping you is coming at the expense of myself, constantly,
Yeah.
I get that. Okay, I know what I signed up for. Me being friends with somebody,
Mhm.
I get that sometimes it's gonna come at the cost of myself. Okay, cool. I understand that. But if this is becoming a constant thing, like this is
Mhm.
always like a nah, fam, that ain't cool.
It's
And-
like you didn't sign up to be the punching bag.
exactly.
So I feel like also sometimes too, like I feel like people in general need to value friendships more. Because like especially like with me right now and my friends and everything, I understand people back home have a lot going on too, but I'm out here by myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes I have put a boundary within myself too because I'm used to being the one that's always calling. I'm calling
Yeah.
everybody back home. What you doing? What you doing? What's the updates? How are things going? You know? and it started getting to a point where I felt like, okay, this feels like a one-sided friendship
Whew.
because why am I the one doing all the calling?
Yeah.
Who's checking on me? You know? And so also too, I think it comes you have to be real with your friends
Mhm.
and understand that sometimes you're gonna hurt people's feelings, and
Yeah.
that comes with any relationship, platonic or romantic. And like I mean, we had a situation. It's a group of us that are friends, especially back home, and where I had to be honest with one of my friends, and she didn't like it.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, she didn't want to be friends anymore because of it. But I'd be doing her disservice and myself if I wasn't honest with you.
Exactly.
Because then you're harboring feelings and holding on feelings. And then I'm talking to one friend, and I'm like, girl, she getting on my nerves because every single time she call me, she talking about this or she don't call me, da da da. And
Yeah.
then it's not really a friendship. You sitting there talking shit about your friends,
Exactly.
you know? And so I feel like sometimes people bite their tongues a lot because they're scared they're gonna lose a friend, or they're scared they can't say anything to their friend, or that they can't be real with them.
Yeah.
If they're a real friend, they'll take it and they'll receive it and they'll know that it's coming from a genuine place.
Exactly. Because
Hmm.
that's all it's about for me. Like if it's coming from a genuine place and I know you
Hmm.
personally, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with us disagreeing. That's not a problem. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, I don't have a problem voicing my opinion, especially me. I'm not the type of person to like.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna allow nobody to get me out of character. But like, if I'm feeling
Yeah.
some type of way about it, I'm a passionate person, so I'm gonna speak up about it. I'm gonna say something,
Hmm.
even if it's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
that's the type of person I am. But a lot of people ain't like that. So it's like anytime
Hmm.
you talk to them and you disagree about whatever, it's like
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like how could you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then, but like you said, if they really truly your friend and it's genuine, they gonna know it's coming from a good place. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
they gonna know your
Definitely.
intentions pure. So that's how it should
Definitely.
be. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so to wrap this up, my last question. Because all of this, right, obviously I feel like in order for all of this to happen, the self love aspect of it, you gotta get to a place to where you can forgive yourself for the things that you may have allowed to happen in the past or things that you did and maybe you were kind of acting that way out of not loving yourself, whatever the case may be. So like did you go through a period where it was like, okay, in order for me to really truly get to where I want to be mentally, emotionally, and loving myself, it's gonna be a hard pill to swallow, but I gotta forgive myself for some of the things that I did or I allowed. Like did you ever go through that period?
Yeah. I feel like I was kind of pushing that to that period. Like I felt like I was at a point where like being unhappy, you really like start to be like, okay, why am I really unhappy? Like
Yeah.
because for me like depression for me, like I feel like sometimes I can have a functionally depressed state. Like, to the outside they'd be like, "Oh, she looks fine to me." But like on the inside I'm like, okay, crying for help.
Yeah.
But I feel like I definitely had to come to some realizations and to forgive myself for certain things. So it's like, okay, I pictured my life going a different way.
Yeah.
Um, I pictured, I was always a and B student, sports,
Yeah.
um, clubs and everything like that. Very involved in the community and church and everything. I saw myself going to college, doing a bunch of different stuff. Um, I never seen myself at 24 and not have graduated from college or anything.
Yeah.
So, I had to forgive myself for like even though different situations happened leading to me not being able to financially go to college. I had to forgive myself for certain things because at the end of the day, like it's not my journey,
Yeah.
you know? It's not the path that was in store for me.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it comes to a point where you have to like let a lot of those hurt feelings you have go
Mhm.
within yourself. I'm still working on letting like some feelings I have in like certain relationships I've had,
Yeah.
um,
Whew.
certain people. That is a journey,
Yes, it
and so
is.
and it's gonna take time. But I think that just being true to yourself and being honest with yourself is like the first steps to doing that.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize you can lie to yourself. And whew, you lie to yourself enough, you will really start thinking that it's true.
Yeah.
So, for me, it really has been just like the only word I can use is grace. Showing myself grace.
Yeah.
I know honestly, probably a few months ago, I was having a conversation with my mom, and I was very aggravated because this program, when I didn't get to go to college, I ended up going to this place called the Apprentice School,
Okay.
which is like a trade school.
Hmm.
Um, I was sold this big dream of like, oh, you come here, you get to play basketball, go to school for free, all that stuff. You get a job starting off at like 17, $18 an hour. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. The sun is so luxurious. But like I was there for 5 years.
Yeah.
For 5 years, and I'm like, dang, I could have been in college and graduating and stuff.
Yeah.
So to be there for 5 years, and I didn't end up finishing the program because I in 2021 I got hurt twice on the job
Wow.
because when you're thinking about it, we're working on like aircraft carriers and submarines. That's the type of work it was, like hard labor. So it wasn't no just like sit at a desk job. Like no, I was
Yeah,
working
that's where
hard
the
labor job.
17, 18 an hour was coming from.
Yeah, uh-huh. And I mean, so leaving there, I was making a good amount of
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
'Cause, your pay goes up, but so for me, I was disappointed for a while because I was like, dang, like okay, I left there for my well-being.
Mm,
Because two surgeries in 1 year, oof, yeah,
that's
I'm still
hard.
feeling the effects of that.
Yeah.
So, I left there for my well-being, and I was disappointed because I seen a lot of people a few months ago graduating, people that were in classes under me or the same class as me,
Hmm.
and so I was just like, dang, like that. If I would have just stuck it out a little bit more, or like that could have been me, or
Yeah.
I should have done this, I should have done that. And so even just recently, forgiving myself, in certain aspects of like, okay, that's not your path though,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know you weren't meant to do that. You are meant for bigger and better things.
Hmm.
And, just understanding too that things are going to come with work. Every relationship's going to come with work. And that's even the relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
So, honestly, like my biggest advice to anybody who's trying to embark on a self love journey is like do the work.
Yeah.
Start by sitting down and being real with yourself. Like, what are things that you have dealt with in the past that you have not really, like dealt with or accepted or understood that okay, things that can't be changed, you can't keep on dwelling on them.
Hmm.
Like really just being true and honest with yourself and kind of like breaking down the walls. Like
Yeah.
honestly,
That's what it is, though.
but you
Yeah.
can put walls. You can put walls up with yourself, but once you start breaking them down and pulling those layers back, it's some of that stuff's gonna be painful.
A lot of
Cause
it's
trust
gonna be
me,
painful.
I be saying sometimes like sad, and I'm like, why am I sad? Like, what was I just thinking about? Like,
Yeah.
So I really think that it just takes time, and it takes work, and it takes effort, and it takes the want to be better for yourself.
Yeah.
You really have to want, and you have to want it for yourself and not for anybody else.
Exactly.
You know, People will tell you like, oh, you need to change your attitude, you need to change this, you need to change that. Like they can tell you that all day long, but until you want it for yourself, you're not gonna do the work you need to.
Yeah. And a lot of those people, it don't come from a genuine place. You know what I mean? So it's not.
Yeah.
But for
Hmm.
me, like forgiveness of the self, like that's something I was never taught that. Never. Like now that I'm
Yeah.
actually really thinking about it, I was never like that term has never even come up throughout my life. And
Hmm.
especially going to therapy, like I learned and it taught me that there's a lot of like unconscious beliefs that I have that we all have. And
Hmm.
because they're unconscious, like you're not aware of them, but you're still
Hmm.
acting on it from it. That's where you're acting from. A lot of your actions, a lot of things that you're doing is coming from that. So it's like
Hmm.
a lot of times you find yourself sabotaging yourself
Yeah.
or like punishing yourself for things that you did or maybe like you had expectations or plans for certain whatever, and it didn't go that way.
Mhm.
Like, so because of that, like you unconsciously punish yourself, and it's like
Mhm.
that was one of the hardest things, and it's still because it's still a work in
Mhm.
progress for me.
Yeah.
But that's one of the hardest things is learning to forgive myself because I literally a couple days ago I called my cousin, and he's a couples therapist. He got his degree in
Okay.
psychology. Now he's doing couples therapy,
Nice.
and he gave me some advice on something that I was dealing with, um, about a prior relationship that
Mhm.
I was dealing with that I didn't even realize. Like, yo, there's still some baggage there. I'm
Mhm.
thinking I moved on from it. I'm cool. I'm
Yeah.
good. Like I'm in this place where I'm loving myself. I'm good. But then when we really talked about it and broke down that barrier, it was like, damn, like maybe this whole time
Mhm.
I have been kind of punishing myself or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
So it's like, damn, like you really gotta, and I haven't. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you. I still haven't forgiven
Yeah.
myself for that situation. But now that I'm aware of it and where these certain issues are probably coming from, it's like, okay, I got the knowledge of it. And it's like, all right, now I gotta actively do the work to forgive
Mhm.
myself. You know what I'm saying, for things that I did or said or whatever the case may be. And that
Mhm.
is uncomfortable as fuck. It's
Yes.
uncomfortable, but you gotta sit in it. You got to.
Yes.
Like it's hard, and you're gonna want to get
But
out of
also
it.
too, so it's like you gotta sit in it, but then you can't dwell on it for too long. Because
Yeah,
I
you
feel
can't
like
dwell
right
on it for too long.
now
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm in a place like that right now too, and it's like for me, like I feel like I have all these things that go through my head every single day at all
Yeah.
times, and I feel like sometimes it's like a hard time to get out of your head, you
Mhm.
know. So like for me, especially a big one right now, which is even a few like last week, I just went home back to Texas to visit with my mom, and I had to even tell her like before I was coming out there, like that should be a happy thing. I'm going to see my mom, you know, my
Yeah,
family and everything. I was feeling so down and guilty within myself because I feel like because I'm the oldest sibling, I should be there taking care of her,
yeah,
you know? So it's like having that, you know, that I feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves too.
yeah.
You know, we don't show ourselves enough grace. We don't show ourselves enough, you know, like compassion and stuff like that. So like dealing with certain things and understanding that like not everything needs to be like a beat up on yourself thing about. Like, you
Mhm.
know, like just things happen in life that we can't control.
Exactly.
And everything that happens in your life is like honestly a chance to learn something.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't even know. Like I really feel like forgiveness is the key to all of it, honestly.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is the key to starting self love.
Yeah. I agree. You gotta start somewhere, and
Hmm.
forgiving yourself, man. Like that shit is it's difficult because like I said, when you punishing yourself for shit that bro, I'm telling you, like I really thought like, bro, like that ain't even. What you mean? That ain't
And
even.
you think you be over certain stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
and then something triggers it, and you be like, "Damn,
Exactly.
shit came back."
Exactly, fam. And it's like, damn,
It's
like
an everyday thing though.
it is. And it's that shit hard, bro, but you gotta do the work. You know what I'm saying? Like you said,
Yeah.
like you gotta be able to willing you have to be willing to work on yourself even at the expense of other people. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like that's what it's all about. Like it's not gonna please
Mhm.
everybody. You know what I mean? But that's okay.
Mhm.
And also learning, I was actually just talking about this in my last episode. We're still young. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Mhm.
still making mistakes. Like we feel like we
Yes.
should have everything together, but like the reality is,
Yeah.
bro, I'm 22 years old. You 24 years old. Like
Yeah.
we still gonna fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like we still
Mhm.
gonna make these
And that's
mistakes.
where society kind of puts that in our minds too of like, okay, so there's people who are in their early 20s and they're doing YouTube and all this other stuff and they're making all this money. So you feel like you should be doing certain stuff
Yeah.
or like rap and everything. But like in reality, no, we're in our early. This is our time to make mistakes and to learn and to figure things out. Like even just like you might start one thing and figure out, okay, this is not for me. This is your time to change things up and to figure yourself out. But people don't take the time to actually like figure those things out, and I'm guilty of that too. Cause just last week I was sitting here, I was like, dang, like oh, am I making the right choices right now? Like, oh my gosh, I should be further. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
But like, it's like I don't take the time to pat myself on the back for anything. Like 24 years old and me and my boyfriend have a mortgage.
Yeah,
Not a lot of people can say
that's
that.
crazy. Yes, not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah, like I've been living on my own since I was 18,
Yep.
paying my own bills,
Yep.
doing
Same.
all that stuff. Like, and those are not things that people teach you in school, how to pay bills and
Yeah.
how to file taxes and all that stuff, So it's like I think forgiveness, but also showing yourself some what's the right word? Showing yourself that you can be proud of certain things that you've accomplished already.
Yeah.
Don't focus on the bad. Focus on all the like. Yes, I may not have went to college, but I've accomplished all of this stuff in these past
Exactly.
5, 6 years to
Yeah.
the point where okay, now I'm living in a house with the person that I love, and I'm working on myself and all that stuff. Like right now, I couldn't ask for things to be better.
Yeah. You got to celebrate the wins, the little wins. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Because
exactly.
when you don't, like when all you focus on is what's not going right, but you're not really realizing, like, yo, like something that I prayed for a year ago, I'm actually living it right now. Didn't
Yes.
even
Oh my
realize it.
God. When
Like,
I tell you a year ago, I was, whew, you don't even know, Jesus. Oh my
dead
God.
ass though, dead ass.
Whew.
That shit is
A year
man.
ago, man. Mm, yeah.
That's how it be though.
I was,
But that's one of the main reasons why I don't be on. Well, I do be on social media, but I be off of it. I have my periods. It's because
yeah.
like that social comparison, like you said, it's like damn, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is the picture that they painted of where you should be in life, and this is how much money
Yeah.
you should have. These are the type of cars you should drive. These are the type of women you should have around you, and this, that, and the third. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like the reality is, for 90% of us, that's not the case. So it's like
Yeah.
when you on social media and that's the only picture they painting, and if you're not living that life, like you get bashed or you get whatever the case
Mm-hmm.
is. It's like seeing that on a daily basis, constantly, like it start to fuck with you
Mm-hmm.
mentally, emotionally.
It
So it's
does.
like, bro, I really don't want to be a part of that shit. Let me log off this
Mm-hmm.
shit. Let me just go home. And
Yeah.
now I'm in a place where I'm just focusing on me so that I can actually get to that point. You see what I'm saying? So
And
yeah.
being mindful of like who you follow and the things that you actually
Yes.
let like the things you actually let like into your minds and stuff.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like the shade room ain't nothing but a bunch of drama,
I don't
honestly.
follow them. I had to. I swear to God.
I'm about to because
I had
I'm
to.
sitting here scrolling and I'm like, do y'all post? I mean, I know it's the shade room, but do y'all post anything like
Damn.
decent?
I swear to
Like,
God. Last year I was literally feeling that
oh
same way. I'm like, bro, is this all y'all fucking post? So I had
yeah,
to.
like it makes life feel heavy, especially whenever you're scrolling and
Yes.
every other post is the shade room, the shade room, the shade room. I'm like, yes, it keeps you up to date on certain stuff, but at the end of the day, do I really give a fuck about these celebrities?
Yeah.
No, because they don't know who I am. They're
Hmm.
not giving a fuck about me either. They ain't helping me. I ain't helping them. So I really don't need to know what's going on in their lives. You
And they
know?
only posting people who they feel like are important.
Yeah.
That's it.
They're not
You see what I'm
posting
saying?
people who are actually doing things in the community or doing like actual like things that are trying to help to progress people. They're not
Exactly.
posting them.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely about being mindful of what you are allowing yourself to take part in.
Yeah. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause the
100%.
mind is a crazy place.
This is a very, very crazy place. But we're gonna get through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
hard, it's difficult. We still learning though.
Yeah.
When you know more, you're supposed to do more. When you know better, you're supposed to do
Mm-hmm.
better. Supposed to.
Yeah.
Now, ain't always the case, you know what I'm saying? But when
Yeah.
you know better,
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to do better. You know what I'm saying? So we
Yes.
continue to try to elevate ourselves and put ourselves in a position to where we can be successful and bring the people that we
Mm-hmm.
care about along with us. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I feel all this shit is about. Like that's why I started the whole podcast. The podcast
Yeah.
actually came from me finding that self love. Like this is something I found out
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, like connecting with people and
Mm-hmm.
seeing people tell their stories and giving different perspectives. I'm like, damn, if I could find a way to
Mm-hmm.
put all this shit together so that we could contribute to a
Mm-hmm.
solution instead of the fucking
Yep.
problem. You see what I'm saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, damn, okay. And I would have never been able to put all this shit together if I didn't
Yeah.
take a step back, sit the fuck down, and really just focus on me and what I like to do and what I like to, you see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
like that self
Yeah.
love, like that's where it all come into play. Like when you really start to just focus on yourself, it's like
Mhm.
you find out certain shit, and it's like when you put your focus on that, it's like all right, now these little doors, like door by door,
Yep.
start to open. It's like okay, okay, boom, boom.
Mhm.
Now it's really you prioritizing you because you seeing the results. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like we covered everything. You know what I'm saying? We got the topic
So,
of self love. I do
yeah.
this thing at the end of the episode of every pod. I show love and I give flowers to all my guests because I feel like we as a society we wait till we either 6 feet under or we
Mhm.
behind bars or some crazy illness didn't happen to one of us before we finally like
Yeah.
start showing love. And I don't want to do that. So I want to give you your flowers, your journey on self love. Like it's something that's inspiring, not just for me, but I'm sure whoever's gonna watch this, they're gonna be inspired as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you gave a very, very, very great perspective. You taught me some
Thanks.
shit. Like I said, that look, that exercise that y'all did, you gotta send me that shit. As
I'm
soon as
telling
you
you,
gotta send me
I'm
that shit.
telling you, for everyone watching, that exercise changed my life.
Yes,
Not
dead
only my
ass.
relationship, but my life with myself, with God, with the people
Yes.
around me. It was like a slap in the face.
Yes, it's an
Like,
eye
so
opener.
if you take some time, please do that. Like,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
it's
I'm gonna
definitely
probably when you send me that, I'm gonna do that with somebody else. I already know because I
yes,
feel like
yes,
that's gonna
yes.
tell us a lot about each other. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
a lot about
Yeah,
me,
it
a lot
will.
about her. Like, so yeah. And like I said, that's what all this shit is about.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So once again,
Mhm.
I wanna thank you for being a part of this, for supporting me, for
Of
following my
course. Thank you for
podcast. You done
asking
reposted
me.
it. Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully this ain't the next time. I mean, this ain't the last time we record. Maybe you got some
Yes.
friends, whether it be
Yeah.
homeboys, homegirls, like whatever mental health
Mhm.
topic they want to talk about. Look, we can get
Yeah.
on here. We can talk our shit. As
For
long as
sure. For
everybody
sure.
being respectful, everybody cool,
Yeah.
respecting opinions. I don't care who's on here. Like we could
For
all
sure.
chop it up, give different perspectives. So thank you, and
I just
I
want to
appreciate
say
it.
you are doing your thing out here. Keep on doing it. This is just the beginning for you.
Yes,
You're gonna be a multi-millionaire one day
yes,
with a crazy podcast. You're gonna be up there with the dead ass podcast, all
yes,
them stuff. You know, so I really just say that anyone who's watching this podcast that I've known Brandon for some years.
yeah,
He is going to do amazing things. This is not the last time you will see his face.
yes.
And hopefully next time he will be on a crazy huge platform. So
Yeah, we're
y'all
gonna get
keep
it right.
watching.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
on that, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get out of here, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for tuning into the episode. We got another banger coming the next episode tonight. A lot. I know you set one up. So we going yeah, yeah. But thank y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let y'all go, fam. So we out.
All right. Bye.